The glass tapped lightly in his hand as he gave me that flawless, hollow CEO smile. Then, with a gentle, patronizing touch to my head, he said, "I'm borrowing her for the night." Laughter erupted around us, hers included. Not mine. The sound felt distant, muted, like it was underwater. My wife's fingers brushed against his arm as they melted into the crowd of flashing lights and practiced charm. My hand stayed motionless around my drink. The ice had long since melted. Moments later, the door closed behind them, leaving me alone in a room packed with people. I stared at the empty doorway too long enough for someone to notice. "Hey man, you okay?" I nodded, but inside, something ancient and quiet began stirring. I drove home that night alone. No music, no anger, just the rhythmic sweep of the wipers and the faint trace of her perfume clinging to my jacket. I tried to piece together how it began. Perhaps the late-night strategy meetings she mentioned. The sudden obsession with appearances, the way she looked at me lately, as though I were nothing more than the background noise to her achievements. I had seen the signs. I just refused to believe them, until tonight. Until that touch, her hand resting on his wrist as if it belonged there. Until that arrogant whisper, "I'm borrowing her for the night." Borrowing, as though she were an object, as though I were invisible. And the cruelest part? She didn't flinch. The next morning, her side of the bed was empty. I sat at the edge, watching the light creep across the floorboards. I wasn't thinking of revenge yet, only the mathematics of betrayal, how small lies accumulate into something absolute. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message from him. I didn't open it. The preview said everything. Last night was. I stopped reading. I made coffee, sat at my desk, and opened my laptop. If they assumed I was just another husband, just another quiet man to be forgotten, they had no idea who they were dealing with. For years, my silence had been deliberate. While she climbed corporate ladders and rubbed elbows with people like him, I built something hidden, something no one knew bore my name. A company carefully concealed under holding structures and shell corporations, spanning 3 continents. While she believed she was married to a harmless engineer, I was quietly acquiring pieces of the very empire her lover ran, small percentages here, discreet mergers there, subtle moves invisible to anyone. By the time she stepped into that party, my shadow was already embedded in his company's ledgers. And the day after their affair, I completed the transaction. That afternoon, she returned. Makeup flawless, eyes deliberately avoiding mine. "Morning," she said softly. I nodded. The silence between us had texture, like static. "You left early last night," she added. It was rude. Was it? Her expression faltered. I had never spoken to her like that, calm, sharp, deliberate. "Where were you?" I asked. Her throat moved. "Don't start this." "I won't," I said. "It's already finished." I rose, grabbed my keys, and walked past her. Her perfume lingered, sweet and nauseating. I didn't look back. The next day, everything changed. She returned around noon, designer bag in hand, humming to herself. At the front door, the key wouldn't turn. She tried harder. Metal scraped, then stopped. I had changed the locks that morning. Inside, I sipped coffee by the window, watching confusion turn to panic. She knocked once, twice, louder. "Open the door." Her phone rang. She answered, still pounding. "Hello." "What?" "Slow down." "What do you mean?" Her face crumbled. Tears of fear welled instantly. She paced on the porch, voice trembling. No, he's not. You don't understand." I could hear him through the thin door, faint, furious, then silence. She dropped the phone. Later, I learned the exact moment he realized. The board meeting, the press release, the emergency vote, my name appeared as majority shareholder. His position as CEO now depended on my approval. In that instant, the husband he mocked became the owner of everything he had built, and she, his latest conquest, became toxic to him. I opened the door then. She froze, makeup streaked. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "I'm not," I said. "You did." She looked at me as if I were a stranger. Maybe I was. One mistake on my part, countless on hers. I handed her a single envelope. Inside, the divorce papers, clean, simple, final. She said nothing, cried nothing. She just stared, as if trying to find the man she thought she knew in my eyes. He wasn't there anymore. When she left, the air felt lighter. No shouting, no explanations, just quiet footsteps fading down the street. People talk about revenge like it's fire, loud, consuming. They're wrong. True revenge is water, cold, patient, silent. It engulfs you without notice. Her name no longer crosses my mind. Neither does his. Sometimes I see them in the news, separate scandals, collapsing reputations, slow professional deaths. I don't smile. I feel no satisfaction. Only equilibrium. The world teaches people what they refuse to learn. And me. I'm free. Free from her voice, free from their laughter, free from the version of myself who waited for respect instead of taking it. When people ask how it ended, I tell the truth. She left with a rich man, and came back to discover she'd never really known the poor one. I paused just long enough for them to understand. She thought I was ordinary. I take a sip of